Hi, everyone. The show you're about to see was originally presented in New Orleans at a conference of the Lighthearted Philosopher Society back in November 2025. They entertain all kinds of humor, racy, risque, off color, every color. Nothing is taboo, and it's a great thing for philosophers to get together and let our hair down, or what's left of it. So this show was intended to be funny, and indeed, they laughed mostly in all the right places, but it also ended up being scary for them, or so they said. And maybe that's because humor can sometimes touch the truth of things. I want you to be the judge. Let me know. Enjoy the show. I'm sure you've all heard of or recall the Planet of the Apes, but times have changed. Welcome to Planet of the Apps. Yes, it's time to update our apphorisms. We need famous sayings reframed for our digital age. Let's start with the ancient world. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Book of Genesis, chapter 1, verses 1 to 3. A little later, God said, "Let there be Turing," and there were data. He invented the universal Turing machine in 1936, the blueprint for all digital computers today. From the ancient world in many cultures, the golden rule, do unto others as you would they do unto you. How about the digital golden rule? Do unto others data as you would they do unto yours. Don't hack lest ye be hacked. But we'll probably get hacked anyway. That's the dilemma. Buddha said, "As you think, so shall you become." And he was so right, at least up till now. Social media say, "As your data, so shall you become." And maybe that's true too, in unfortunate cases. Heraclitus, you can't step in the same river twice. Everybody still knows this. Some still try. Web developitis counters with, you can't browse the same web page twice. And that's true too. Plato's cave, one of the most beloved allegories of the ancient world, teaching us to distinguish between appearance and reality. It's been upgraded too. Plato's Cave 2.0, teaching us to distinguish between virtuality and reality, a much more challenging task, I submit to you. And you don't even need to chain people up, just give them a cell phone. You're done. Plato argued famously that essence precedes existence. It took a long time to come up with a counter argument, but Sartre made it. Existence precedes essence. Turing, however, rebuts them both. Data precede everything. Aristotle gave us his virtue ethics through the beautiful geometric metaphor of the golden mean. Well, Investopedia gives us the golden meme, perhaps even better, but not more virtuous. Sisyphus, condemned perpetually to roll a boulder uphill. Rest of us, condemned perpetually to update our data. Yes? Saint Augustine, his prayer, make me chaste, but not yet. Harvey Weinstein, cancel my subscription to Pornhub, but not yet. Is there a resemblance? Many theologies of the ancient world claim that we have immortal souls, or even better, that we are immortal souls. What could possibly go wrong with this? Well, a believer will say nothing. It's all God's plan. An agnostic, however, will say, sounds too good to be true. while an atheist will take out a history book and show you everything that could possibly go wrong. Well, now we have science and cryogenics, which can preserve your body before you die. They cool you down, they put you in liquid nitrogen, and they hope one day that future science will revive you and cure whatever was about to kill you. How's that for a plan? What could possibly go wrong? Well, to begin with, it's a high rent district. It takes a lot of power to keep that nitrogen in its liquid state. At room temperature, it's a gas. If there's ever a power failure, you'll be the first person ever to be boiled to death in nitrogen. I wouldn't try this in California. But if it's a high rent district, is there a budget? Yes. There's a cheaper plan. It's ahead only. Some people think it's their best part. So if you ever got ahead in life, now you have a chance to get ahead in death. However, QR codes now promise immortal data. Yes, just slap a QR code on your tombstone. Guests will come by, scan it, and Bob's your uncle. What could possibly go wrong with this? Just one thing. They pull up a 404, not found. In that case, you're well and truly gone. I yearn for medieval simplicity. All things being equal, the simplest solution tends to be the best one. It's often true. William of Ockham. We are left with Occam's razor. Do not multiply entities needlessly. Well, that's out the window. Now we face post-everything complexity. All data being more useful than human time make life as complicated as possible. We have technocracy everywhere. The technocrat's mantra is multiply data like bacteria, and you can't get rid of it with BleachBit. But seriously, humans are serial processors. We do one thing at a time, best of all, whatever that thing may be. Computers used to be serial, now they're parallel, and they make us into parallel processors, and we're not designed to multitask. It really messes things up. What can you do? Well, we could update early modern philosophy while we're at it. Lord Francis Bacon famously said, knowledge is power. The tech oligarchs counter, data are power. The ends justify the means, often attributed to Machiavelli, falsely attributed, but I'm sure he would have agreed. These days, the ends justify the means, attributed to Stonchiavelli, the Stonksman. And coming to you from the uncanny valley, take a closer look. Don't you think a criminal artist's sketch of Machiavelli would look like Stonchiavelli? Just food for thought. Everybody still knows this, even those who skip Philosophy 101, Descartes' cogito, I think, therefore I am. Everybody except too many ex-users whose mantra is pipo ergo sum. I tweet, therefore I am. Pipo, piperi, the perfect verb, the twittering of small birds in the trees. That's what it means. Spinoza, align your mind with the natural order. Spin doctors, align your mind with the data. A war of all against all, our primeval state, as described by Thomas Hobbes in his Leviathan. Without government, without law, without order, we have anarchy, called a Hobbesian state of nature. These days, in the cloud, a virtual war of all against all, AI wars, cyber wars, information wars. What do we call it? Clearly, a Hobbesian state of data. Berkeley, the great idealist, esse est percipi, to be is to be perceived. Not so, says Turing. Esse est computabile, to be is to be computable. David Hume. Reason is and ought to be only the slave of the passions. Tech oligarchs. Reason is and ought to be only the slave of the data. Think about it. Updating Enlightenment and modern philosophy. Kant. Act only on that maxim such that you can will it to be a universal law, his renowned categorical imperative. These days superseded by rant. Act only on that datum such that you can will it to go viral. This, of course, is the categorical imperative. Schopenhauer, the world is will and idea. Kurzweil's hour, the singularity is nearer. Utilitarians, Bentham, Mill, Sidgwick, the greatest good for the greatest number. Datatarians, the most data on the greatest number. Karl Marx, from each according to his ability, to each according to his need. Tech oligarchs, from each according to their data, to each according to their data. Comrades, that sounds a lot more fair. Spencer, survival of the fittest. Darwin never liked that, by the way, but it was foisted on him. Geeker, survival of the bittest. Now we pause for a commercial break. Karl Marx and Herbert Spencer are buried in Highgate Cemetery, London, fittingly opposite one another, given their mutually opposed political and economic views. Londoners joke that it's the location of the very first Marx and Spencer. This was brought to you by Marx and Spencer. And speaking of food, do you remember Spam? Ingredients: pork with ham, salt, water, modified potato starch, sugar, sodium nitrate. Gee, it's practically vegan compared to some of the ultra-processed food out there today. Spam was created and launched by Hormel Foods, 1937. Supposedly stands for spiced ham, or maybe specially processed American meat. And whatever happened to it? Well, it got digitized in the 1990s. Unwanted content, especially email, is what we call spam. And guess what? Actually, spam was very good for spam, because spam of the first kind is now diversified, partly thanks to spam of the second kind. Or maybe they merged with Baskin Robbins, became Spammin' Robbins. They got maple-flavored spam, look, teriyaki spam, jalapeno spam. They got oven-roasted turkey-flavored spam. I'm still looking for kosher spam, even halal spam. It'll take a while. They got to lose the pig parts. But on the whole, spam has been good for spam. How about Nietzsche? I teach you the Ubermensch. Along comes Travis Kalanick. I teach you the Uber app. And my favorite, Anais Nin. She said, we don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. How profound, how enlightened she was. AI Nin says, we don't see things as they are. We see them as data. Part 4, updating politics and patriotism. You can't talk about politics without talking about this guy, the godfather, il capo di tutti capi. He could buy or sell politicians. He could fix elections. Then along comes the Google father, il dato di tutti dati. They can simply influence elections. Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. keyboard geekery. Give me connectivity or give me data. George Orwell, Big Brother is watching you. And indeed he was. But AI says big data are watching you, and that's possibly worse. Orwell again, who controls the present controls the past, who controls the past controls the future. Ne'er-do-well rebuts him, who controls the data controls everything. JFK, one of his most memorable speeches. He said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." From JFK to SEO, ask not what your data can do for you, ask what you can do for your data. In Britain, they still sing God Save the King, or God Save the Queen, as the case may be. But really, when push comes to shove, it's God Save the Data. In France, the slogan of the revolution, liberté, égalité, fraternité. Nowadays, the slogan of the digital revolution, technology, technocracy, virtuality. Which do you think was better for us? The Germans sing Deutschland über alles, but they know it's really algorithms über alles. Our neighbors to the north sing, "Oh, Canada, our home and native land." But really, it comes to this, "Oh, Canada.gov, our home page and data land." And here in the good old USA, God bless America, it's still true, we sing about the land of the free and the home of the brave. And you know why? Because it's also the land of the free electrons and the home of the data. Groucho Marx once said, "If you don't like my principles, I have others." Well, this old grouch says, "If you don't like my data, I have others." So thanks for viewing and have a great datum.